Several years ago, the Air Resource Board, along with the Department of Motor Vehicles, began to limit certain classifications of vehicles as far as the annual miles they could travel because of smog concerns. Interesting enough is one state over, this is not an issue. And so when you have laws that seem rather arbitrary or laws that are illogical, it makes for a rather frustrating kind of world. This is not the world that the Lord put into place. In fact, when he developed his nation and he drew them out of Egypt, he set some laws in place that would help them facilitate how to get along one with another. We call those the Ten Commandments. Interesting, we live in a world that has thrown out the Ten Commandments, and so we've thrown that out. We've got rid of God in his centrality, and we have ushered in all kinds of laws. Some that make sense, some that are contradictory, some that never get enforced at all. And so we live in a world now that actually, with all of the laws that we have, has become rather lawless. This is what we're talking about in our devotional today, is that the importance of God's law had an actual single purpose. Where we may not know what the purpose for a lot of the laws are today, God's law had a single purpose, and that was to expose sin. Romans 3:20 says, "Therefore, by the deeds of the law, there shall no flesh be justified in his sight, for by the law is the knowledge of sin." And so the law exposes our sin, and it gives us understanding that sin is an offense towards God. And so you can see how the enemy would like to get rid of the law, because Paul says to those in Galatians that the law, he says in Galatians 3:24, was our schoolmaster, bringing us unto Christ that we might be justified by faith. So the law shows us that we have sin in our lives, and then it brings us to Christ. And so once I realize that I have sinned, that I have got this gulf between me and God, then it's going to bring me to Christ, because Christ is going to bridge that gap. And so it's an absolutely beautiful picture. And so, well, there's certain things that seem arbitrary, certain things that don't seem to make sense. There seems to be some inconsistencies. There are none with the Lord. The law had one purpose, and that was to expose sin. Once sin was exposed, then we would look for a mediator. That mediator was the Lord Jesus Christ. And so the law brought us to Christ, and Christ was our passage to the Father. So when we take a look at all the laws today, we might be perplexed, but when we look at the law of God, it's very, very clear why it's there. So be thankful for the law, and be thankful for Christ. God bless you. Thank you so much for tuning in.